So, good evening, everybody. Um, Sorry, excuse me. I felt like I never planned to go live this evening, but thing there, I had uploaded a video earlier. Was supposed to be a market outlook for the incoming week, but after reviewing it, me kind of realized um, it wasn't the best. So me actually I go delete it because the audio on it never so clear, and the display, the things on the chart couldn't be seen so clearly. So I'm actually gonna delete the video because me don't want to present that, so to speak. And I think the viewing on here now is better. You get me? It is probably more. It is probably clearer here. So actually go and do that. Sorry, kind of have slight cold, so you hear me sniffling time to time. Sorry if it's annoying. I'm sorry about that. But yeah. So yeah, guys. So I go on the back of kind of a comprehensive breakdown of um what to see happened, so to speak, and go through all of that. Yeah. So without further ado, let me go back. Let me just delete out all of this because I was doing this already. I did this for the previous video that I made. Let me just delete all of this, and since me actually have to do the complete breakdown again, we just have to start from the yearly time frame and see what is really happening. So for anybody at all who I go see this for the first time, can probably have a better understanding how me look on things. So let's start off by saying that with price can only do one or two things. Is either it is going to break the high of a candle, the previous candle, or it going to break the low of the previous candle. Get me I say? So only done. So that's how we are gonna look for. Uh, that's how we're gonna look for. So like I said before, price you have a candle here, so the higher that candle there, and the lower that candle there. As we know, as me say, price can either break the high or it break the low. See? So we'll be using that as a guide. Keep that as a guide as we go further into this live video. It is it's supposed to be a market outlook, but being that I'm going from so far, just make it kind of, I guess, educational in a sense. Get me? So starting from the monthly time frame, this candle here, as you can see, January 2023. So what I do, I'm going to put a line at the high using the precise points, the precise price. So the high for this was using this broker. If you're using another broker, the prices may vary slightly. So the high for this one was 2146.56. 2146.56. See? Cool. And what we'll do is, whilst I'm doing this top-down analysis, um, you'll be seeing how price basically builds out, the framework of price as it builds from one time frame into the next, and how it gives me my multiple time frame confirmations to take a trade, so to speak. You get me? So what I'll do next is, there are certain candle formations that I look for in order for me to start thinking about a trade setup. Now, being that I'm on the yearly time frame, as I say, 12 years up here, so 12 months, sorry, up here, so when I start dropping down to the lower time frame, so like 6 month, 3 month, therefore, thereabout, I look for certain um formation of the candles. Now, being on the 12-month time frame, obviously we know that it's one big candle for 1 year. For when you go up on the 6 month, you get two candles for the year, because that's 12 months in the year, and so forth. So for 3 months, you have 4 quarters, so 3 months in each quarter. And as you go down to the month at 12 months, so you have 12 single candles. Yeah, you follow? So being on this high time frame, when I'm ready to go on the, if I move down to the 6 months, I'm not going to see the kind of formation in price that I'm looking for. So I don't really use the 6 months, so to speak. I can go to the 3 months or the quarterly, and I can start looking for the candle formations that I'm looking for. At this point in time, none is there. But what we can see is that, as of, we have a breakout at right here, getting a breakout at the yearly high right here, right? So on the 3 month time frame, that is all that is happening. We're getting a breakout of the yearly time frame. Now, as we go down on the lower time frames, we are going to be seeing um, some different aspects of what is happening. So I'm basically trying to show you the framework and how market builds out from the smaller time frame coming up. The only thing is that I'm going backwards right now. But if there's anything that you don't understand while I'm going through this video, then you can be sure to just say it. You can leave the comment after this video. We can check the comments and whatever, and we can answer as best as possible. So there's nothing for me here on the 3 months time frame. So I go down to the monthly, right? On the monthly time frame, I'm still just seeing a breakout here. This candle would have started yesterday, start of November. So we can't really count it as yet, because it not finished. You only have to count it after the month is finished. So we can't count it as it. So right here on this particular broker too, for me, there's nothing right now, no formation for me right now. Probably if I use a next broker, I'll probably see something different. Yeah, so it is different right there on this broker. There's a bearish candle right here. So on the first broker there was it was all bullish candle, but on this broker we have a bearish candle right there. So you see, how you trade kind of subjective to the broker that you even use. You get me? So we go back to this one. So nothing here on this broker. So we go down to the weekly time frame. Before I go to the weekly, I'll just do something though. So I should make it be known that the highs of these candles are very important, and they should be taken note of because they will give you the opportunities on the smaller time frames to see what is happening. So for the sake of this video, I'm just going to do the where the market is now, and after doing that, I probably go back and do a more extensive breakdown. But we are at this location right now. This was September, October, November is beginning. So I'm going to mark the high of October and the high of September and the high of August, just to show you the running order of price. So the high of October, sorry, is 2531.79. 2531.79. And well, the August rather. The August. The high of September was 2685.63. 2685.63. And the high for last month, October now, would be 2790.11. Yo, general walk on. 2690.11. 2690.11. Yeah, G. 2690 2690.11. Big up yourself one link. 2690.11. That what the 27. Shit. 2790.11. And that's October. See? What I do next is I go to the because we are do the breakdown says at the top down analysis. See? So we go to the weekly time frame next. No, what I wanted to do or what I do is I'm looking at how price comes out of these highs. So right here, we see price coming out of the high from August, coming out of that. Right here, we see price coming out of the high for September, right? No, we have to pay keen attention to this. So as I was saying before, when I see price coming out of these areas, whether the highs or the lows, there are specific candle formations that may look for in order to start shaping my bias and what me think about taking a particular trade. So what I do, I'm looking for, let me explain it. So for me, I've noticed that price gives us four well, let me say two formations, but because it goes both ways, it ends up being four, right? So price when coming out of these highs or lows, you'll get a set of bullish candles. You'll get a set of bullish candles before getting one bearish candle, or that set our series as a series of bullish candles before getting one bearish, or you'll have something like a bullish candle, then a bearish candle, then a bearish candle here, something like that, or the opposite is true. So you either get a series of bullish candles, that those are candles going up before getting one down candle, or you get a series of down candles or bearish candles that are candles coming down before getting one bullish candle, which is a candle going up. Or what may happen is that you get a bullish candle and get a bearish candle following immediately, or the vice versa, get a bearish candle with a bullish candle following immediately. See? So on here, I can see on the weekly time frame that we broke out of August highs, and I never get a particular formation, right? But after breaking out of September highs, we now get a particular formation, right? So as I go further into the smaller time frames, you'll understand what I'm saying. So after coming out of September highs, I can see that I have a series of bullish candles, and I now getting one bearish candle. So for me, seeing that, I call that my initial range, right? So that is my initial range. So what I'll do, I'll this candle right here, this candle will act as the top of my initial range, and this candle will be the low or the bottom of my initial range, right? So I'm gonna put two lines on it and mark the precise price points for them. And I'll explain. This will determine, this is shaping my bias going into next week, right? So the low here, the low of the initial range here is 2724.80, 2724.80, and the high of the initial range is 2758.55, right? 2758.55. Cool. So this is what I'll be looking for. This is basically the weekly outlook. So what I look for is that on the smaller time frames, I'm looking for price to take out this low. So I'm looking for price to come down, break the low, and it will form a new low. It will form a new low somewhere. Let's say this is the new low, right? So price will break the low, come down, and then it will push back up above this line. But at the point where it pushes back and closes above this line, we won't be taking the buys because we're going to wait for this second low that it created to be broken. So we're going to look for price to come down again, break that second low, and when it comes up and retraces here at this point, we can take the entry to go long. So with that said, I am telling you right now that for as of Sunday evening, I'm looking for buys when I'm trading gold. I'm looking to take buy entries when we're trading gold. You get me? And I'll show you why. So go down to the daily time frame. Did I mark? No, I never marked the weekly. I never marked the weekly, man. So let me just delete this since we basically covered the weekly outlook. So down to the weekly, and we're gonna mark the high of last week. So the high of last, and we can just put it back. The high of last week. Just take that out, and the high for the previous week was 27.22, 27.22.62, 27.22.62. Cool. So this was the high of last week, and this was the high for the previous week, the one before that, right? So we go on the daily time frame now, and I want you to look. So remember, this white line down here is the high from August, and like I tell you before, when price is coming out of these zones, it does one of four things in terms of the formation. So right here, so now clear to see that right here we're getting a series of bullish candles before getting this first bearish candle, right? So on the daily time frame, that is my initial range. This is my initial range coming out of the daily time frame, right? Now we can see that we came down right here. We came down, we broke right here. We broke the lows of the initial time of the initial range right here. So this is what I was explaining earlier, not too long on the bigger time frames. In order for me to have taken buys here, I see this. It What I'm explaining already would have happened on the smaller time frame, if we were to take buys. So what I would, on this daily time frame, now the ideal thing would be I would want to see price come down, come take out these lows, come take out these lows right here. Boom, come back up above the zone, retest the zone, and go long. That is, and this is what I would be looking for on the daily time frame. But that is just an example. If we were, that is if we were trading back in August. See? So yeah. So we can see that we create the initial zone right here. This is what I call the first low, right? So we broke, we took out the initial low, creating our first low right here. And then we also took out the initial high, creating our first high right here at this point. So this was the first low, and this is now the first high. Right here, the high for September would be our second high on the daily, because we see that this high got taken out, right? So in order for me to take sales now, like what we see happening, since price took out this high right here, which is the high for September, if I was to take sales, I would want to see what we did with come up here. But in order for me to take sales now, I want to see price come back down here, close below this September high, retest it, and come down. But that not happen yet, so obviously that not gonna play out. Zine. So yeah, just delete that. So we see that right there. And right here, so again, the high of September, we see the same thing. Series of bullish candles coming out of the zone, giving us the first bearish candle right here. You see me? So I'm gonna tell you the same thing over and over. And we can see that when we created this initial range coming out of September, we see the yellow line which was taken from the weekly. So this yellow line was from 2 weeks ago. And we realized that it is the high of the initial range coming out of September, also the weekly high. Zine. And it was also a weekly high. Zine. Cool. What we also realize now is that on the daily time frame, after creating the initial range coming out of September, we broke that and giving us a high right here. Now this is what I call my first high. This is the first high. And we would have had a lot of other first highs already, but just using current market situations where we are, this is the first high coming from September. Because every month creates its own opportunities. Every month creates its own opportunities. And it is the month before that leads you into where the opportunities will lie. So Coming out of September, we get the initial range, series of bullish before the bearish. We mark off the initial range. We're breaking out of that initial range and daily time frame here, giving us the first high. And what we can see, this second yellow line on top here was the high for last week. You get me? So we have that. So we mark that as the first high, and we mark that as the first high. See? What we realize again is that Tuesday, October 29, we broke out of this first high, and this would be my setup. This is my setup, and it was later on that I even realized that I got my setup. So as I was explaining, for me to take the cells, we have the initial range here coming from September. We broke above the the higher the initial range, creating the first high, right? So creating the first high, we broke above that first high. Zine, we pull back and close below. So my entry would be right here. This is an entry that I told the guys in the group about. So my entry would have been right here, which then I'll be looking for the sell-off, which we did get the side, but it was after completing the day. I'm like, yo, I really not even did realize that, yo, I got the two highs on the daily time frame, which is, a higher time frame, so you have more confirmation or confluence to easily take the trade and have nothing to look back on. So you could have take the trade here and shut your eyes because it was bound to be profitable. You get me? I say. So we got the two highs, a high breaking. Like as you see here, I say that when highs are broken are taken out, I look for sells, and when lows are taken out, I look for buys. Other people do it the other way around. When highs get taken out, people I look for more buys. When the highs get taken out, people look for more buys. But when highs get taken out for me, I look for sells, right? So that is kind of how I got the confirmation to take sells yesterday, which was lovely. Was lovely, right? Um, and if I go to the 4 hour, you see it so much clearer. So this is how price builds out. All right. Look on the 4 hour. This is high from September here on the 4 hour. We get the series of bullish, then getting the bearish, the initial range. We come up, close above the initial range, giving us a high right here. Giving us a high right here. We close above that right here, giving us a next high. We get a next high right here, and we get a next high right here. You see me? So it was on the 4 hour that I kind of actually analyzed and take it. I was looking for the trading. I never realized the formation on the daily time frame until after. So I had put in the on a live that I was doing earlier in the week last week. Say, yo, once I get this high getting taken out and I get the close back under here, I'm looking for the retest, and we can see it on, as me say, it happened on all the time frames then. And then we take the sells, which is what we did, right? But just to reiterate again that, yo, every month creates its own opportunities, and we have to pay attention and look for them candle formations here from the lower time frames building up to the higher time frames, because you can get so caught up on the lower time frames, and if the lower time frames not matching the higher time frames, you have to lose every time. And you have a one that say, yo, but how me I do this and me I do that, and me not probably not profitable. You get me? I say, well, not to say that I'm a very, very profitable trader. I think I'm profitable in terms of now the concept that I'm trying to put out, or I'm trying to stick to, which is my own concept still. You get me? But like me say here, so focus, patience, discipline, and execution are four things that we also need to follow when we take a trade. You see me? So what I will be saying though is that, as I've said before, these formations will be on all time frames, and you have to pay attention to them. So now we took some me and one of the guys took some sales yesterday, and we close out, made profit. But the sales, some people will be looking to continue selling when market opens tomorrow, and yes, they will get some sales because price, they will get some sales because, as I said before, coming out of September, we're just getting an initial range coming out of September, right? So, um, 27, 24, 80, 27, 24.80. So they will be getting some sales. You know why? In order for price to go up, price have to come down first. In order for price to go up, price have to come down first. And in order for price to come down, it has to go up first. So remember now, I'm saying to you, since I have my candle formations giving me this initial range and the weekly time frame, when I go down to the daily, we may end up, let's say Monday, we may end up getting a candle coming down here Monday. We end up getting a candle coming down here Monday, a bearish candle coming down here Monday, right? And the smaller time frames, we will be seeing way more movement. So probably on the 4 hour, if we get the formation on the 4 hour, where me see price come down, take out the low, form a new low, and it take out this again, and come back up here. So believe me, I'll be holding that trade for the rest of the week if me get into that trade here. So me just gonna leave this here. So, and me just want to remember when the week start next week, say yo, this is what me did point out. You see me I say? Yeah man. So I think next week and for the rest of the year is going to be a very bullish time. Price, may expect price to just continue going up for certain. You see me I say? And yeah, we plan for, hopefully we can make a killing. Hopefully we can make a killing from that. You get me I say? So what I want the man them to do still is that, remember now, we have the initial range and the weekly time frame coming out of September. Seeing? Away. So what we need to pay attention to is the high of October, right? Because the high of October is also last week's high. So what we need to pay attention to, since we have the initial range coming on the weekly when we come out of September high, what we need to pay attention to is that on the lower time frame, on the daily, when we do this operation, we come down, bap, 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 bap. When we start break above this white October line on the lower time frames, we're going to get the initial range coming out of October high on the lower time frames, right? So what we need to do is, when we get the initial range coming out of October high on the lower time frame, we are going to do the same thing we're going to do here. So we are going to mark off the initial range. We are going to look, see if the highs. We are going to look for the first high, the first low, the second high, and we are going to look for the operation then. But we are going to do still throughout the week. So we can guide them still. But just remember this, say, this is what we are looking for. This is what we are looking for. Break of the lows. We are looking for 2 break of the lows. If the price come back above 27.24 or 27.25, close above it. The second time, not the first time, when price close above 27.25, the second time, we're going to wait for the bearish pullback to close above it, and then we are going to take the buy entry. So let's say speculatively, we're going to have a buy entry here, and wherever the last low is before the buy entry, somewhere down here, our stop loss is going to be there, and you can aim to take profit at October's high, which is 27.90. But as I said, once me get another trade here, me I go hold it, because me can possibly hold that trade for the rest of the week, because it a go skyrocket. Or if we get that trade here, we can possibly hold it for 2 weeks, because we are gonna need to get that initial range on the daily, on the weekly, coming out of October's high. So as me tell you, price have a framework, and me I go prove to uno this. Like for the rest of the month, me I go try if show uno the framework of how price does its build out. So, I'm glad say we have the opportunity here now. It's a new month and everything has start fresh. So we can watch the build out of price as of Sunday evening and going into the rest of the year. We have 8 weeks left, and we are gonna try to capitalize on it. Hopefully we can make more than $1 million before the year done. If we can make even a billion, I go push it still. But if we can make 1, 2 million or 1, 3 million before the year done, that would be nice. You understand? So yeah, man. This are the breakdown going into next week. You see me? Yeah, this are the breakdown going into next week. So what me I go do now is that me just go back on the previous yearly the yearly chart on a different thing there, on a different broker, and just to kind of test my theory, if you want to say that. So you can this is just an insight into my thought process. So on this broker, we can see that on the yearly 2015. So high um, high there. This was the initial range on the yearly. So the high, that initial range would be here. 27 2074.70 2074.70. Yeah. So it just get just a break out of that, that shit there. The initial range from the yearly. Just a break out of the initial range from the yearly. This year, last year high is 2144.97. 2144.97. Oh, 6 month. Alright, so the initial range pan the yearly and pan the 6 month are the same thing. That we just a break out of the initial range. This was from 2017. 2017. 3 months. Initial range are the same thing. Did we close below here? This is what? Oh, 1663.36. 1663.36. Okay, 3 month. Did we close below 1660? Yeah, so we took out the lows, moved to the high, first low, move to the high, break out of this, so we come up, first low, that. So we have come up now. Okay, so this on the monthly. First high on the monthly. First, so that was the first low. This is the first high on the monthly. First high that on the monthly. Coming down weekly. I'll go back. I'll make sure I get it right. So this was 2449.95. Okay. So one second high, second high, so two highs. Coming out of the yearly, the initial range span the yearly. You have one, two, first high, second high, second high, second high right here. Third high, fourth high. uh So have a look at high right here. Uh, and as we can, we know, said this is also a new high up here. So this is why. You see, because we have so much, yo, believe me, bro. You see, if price, when, not even if, because it is going to happen, when price breaks out at this 2790 area, whatever the case is, anytime we come up here, so anyhow we close back below it and we retest it, we are gonna have a big dip, bro. Big dip. Believe me. We're gonna have a big dip. Believe me. So that's why, yo, there is so much free flow area now that if price were to start selling off, yo, John know that. John know that. John know, bro. Me have to go start watch this closer because this really interesting. Like me can see what is going to happen before it happen right now. Believe me, because everything I coincide right now. So what me going to do is, you see the same markup me I do now. I going to do it on almost on at least three brokers, because some of the brokers will be showing you the same thing, and you'll have probably one or two brokers showing something different. So I'm gonna do that markup here on different brokers just for see what is happening. Because as we realize, say, yo, last week candle here on this broker, we are seeing a bullish candle, and on the first broker, we're seeing a bearish candle. So I kind of just did this based on the fact that on the other broker was a bearish candle. You see me? John know that. John know, bro. John know. So yeah, price may continue going up for the rest of the year. Believe it, yeah. So look at this now. So look at this. If price goes up for the rest of the year, let's say the year ended. Let's say the year ended, and that was the high of the year. When next year opens, price I got to do either one or two things. It can either break the high there, or it gonna come down and come break the lows. But in order to come all the way back down to break the lows, it have to take out the high. See? So when it take out the high, when it takes out the high, we're going to see the same formation them happen. We see a series of bearish candle coming up. We see a series of bullish candle, sorry, before we get the bearish candle. See? And that will form the initial range, right? Now, after the initial range form, what we are gonna do? We are gonna mad yo, just bear, just I don't want everybody bear witness to this shit. After the initial range form, we're gonna do this. We're gonna mad initial range. See? And delete off them here. So yo, me I give a look into the future right now. Me I give a look into the future right now. So we found the initial range. And again, price can only do two things after being inside of the initial range. See, it it can only break the high of the initial range or break the low of the initial range. Now, ideally, if we want to see a sell off for 2025, we're going to want to see the high of the initial range being broken. Zine? So, we are going to see this. We are going to see this. We are going to see. We are going to see that. And then what we go want to see, when that happen, we are going to mark the high of the initial. No, this will be now our first high. That's going to be the first high. Zine? You see, after forming the first high there, if price come up, come break it and give you the next high, and come down, come close, and do this, believe me, I way back down here, so me I take it. Way back down there, so me I take it. So just remember that. Remember me not just a give me not just a give a weekly outlook for next week. Me I give you a yearly outlook, bro. Oh my. Me I seeing at the future right now. I give you a yearly outlook. I just give you the breakdown for the rest of next year from November 2nd. Me I give you the breakdown for the rest of the year next year from November 2nd. Oh gosh. So I mean that is basically it. Uh, so like an individual here and just do some more charting on my own. So again, if there's any questions that you want to ask, the my email is linked in the description of my channel. Um, and you can always leave whatever questions you have in the comment section to see me. You know, may get the notification and we reply to it. Is me? So until tomorrow evening, you know, stay safe. Peace out. That is it. Have yourselves a good night, man.